Namaskar. Today I will talk about Agya Chakra. Agya Chakra is the sixth center located in the middle of the brain. For the practice of yoga we use this position. It is called Trikuti. Trikuti means three hills, three mountains. 1, 2, 3. Here. So that is the external projection of the Agya Chakra. People call this Agya Chakra as a third eye. The eye that sees everything, that knows the universe, that knows the completeness, the entirety of knowledge. I love this center very much because here it is the most magnificent expression of human existence. We spoke before about 5 lower chakras. And you have seen that chakras represent evolution. The mind grows in complexity and subtlety as we go from chakra to chakra. And also vrittis, the expressions of the chakras, emotions, the tendencies, they become more complex. In the Muladhara chakra there are only 4, then 6, 10, 12, 16. And here again we come to simplicity. There are only 2. But these 2, they represent the entirety of all the vrittis. There are 50 vrittis. 2, 16, 12, 10, 6, 4. 49 vrittis move outwardly. They move externally. It is an analytical movement. From oneness to multitude. From the source, from the noumenal cause to the phenomenal world. And only one vritti moves inwardly. It moves inside, from the phenomenal world to the noumenal cause, to the spiritual cause of existence. So, 2 vrittis, 2 movements of the human mind. External movement, analytical, internal, synthetic. These vrittis are called para and apara vritti. Spiritual knowledge and mundane knowledge. What is mundane knowledge? In mundane knowledge, it is common way how we acquire knowledge about the universe. What is knowledge? Is the subjectivation of the external objectivities. Something which was outside, we make it internal. We bring this snow within my mind. I know this is snow. Next time I hear the word snow, I have idea. What is it? So it is subjectivation of the external objectivities. I bring something within myself. And in that process, in that knowledge, always 3 things are there. 3. 1 is the subject, knower, I. Then object, knowable, anything. Snow, birch tree, a bird, a sun, sky, earth. And then there is a process of knowledge. Through 5 sensory organs, through seeing, through touching, smelling, and hearing, tasting, and then through logical inference, by inferring something. This is the process of knowledge. External mundane knowledge. Our civilization discovered so many things through that process. But you cannot possibly discover everything. You cannot have the completeness of knowledge. Because how large is our cranium? How large is our cerebral structure, our brain? It's very small, it's very little. So we can never know everything. The more I know that I don't know. anything. Yet, there is another kind of knowledge which is not based on these three: subject, object, and process. These three become one. Yoga philosophy believes, actually not believes, but it has discovered through practical means, through practical realization, that on some level, on spiritual level, everything becomes one. Now, even the analytical physical science arrives to that conclusion that at some level everything is one. We see so many things, snowflakes, how many of them? Billions of them. But at some level they are one. Atoms, molecules, you and me, we are so different. But at the some level we are one. It is believed that cosmic consciousness knows everything, because this world is creation of the macro psychic condition, macro psychic will acting. Or in the simple words we can say that this world is imagination of the cosmic entity. Of course, that thought process runs along the natural laws. We call this natural laws, but it is the system in which the macrocosm creates the world, creates that vast imagination. So for anything to happen, it first have to be reflected on the cosmic consciousness. If you create a picture in your mind, no changes can occur there before you knowing it, before you acknowledge it. So cosmic consciousness knows everything. And everything is one. Your consciousness, your individual spirit, your soul is one with cosmic consciousness. It is very strange. I was thinking, how is it that my consciousness is cosmic consciousness? How is it that the universe sprouts out of me? I am within the universe. How can the universe be within me? It is very strange, because a snowflake is an expression, is a tiny little expression of the macrocosmic consciousness. But at the same time, drop is one with ocean. If we move outwardly, we see analytically, we see so many things. But if we move inwardly, we will see only one thing. Everything becomes one at that level. And when everything is one, then everything is there. So knowledge will be there. So that is spiritual knowledge demonstrated by saints and realized masters, such as Shiva, Krishna, Buddha. And I would like to say also that my spiritual guru Shri Anandamurti, he has also demonstrated that type of knowledge. Because of this, Agya Chakra was fully developed. There are many stories. One time, one monk, and you know, as a monks we are restricted with our diet. We are not supposed to take things that will disturb our concentration. So he was flying, transiting Moscow airport, those times, communist time. And there was no really diversity, I can say. It was not as nice. So he was feeling very cold, he didn't have warm clothes, and if you're hungry, you're feeling more cold. So he was searching for some food. He could not find any vegetarian food. And then the most innocent thing to ingest, what he found, was coffee. But we cannot take coffee. But he's feeling very cold. So he's deliberating in his mind. Should I take, should I not take? Then finally he decides, okay, he takes. And then he becomes warm and he flies. He forgot about that incident. After about 2 months, he is present in the darshan of Guru. Guru is giving speech. And then all of a sudden, Guru stops, smiles, and then looks at him. And then he asks, by chance, does anybody know how much is the cup of coffee in the Moscow airport? So that kind of knowledge, nobody knows. Even you have forgotten. But the Guru will know, because he is one with you, with your deeper consciousness. And that is the practical necessity for the Guru to know, otherwise he cannot guide the disciple. Many people nowadays call themselves gurus, but they are actually not. Because in tantric scriptures it is said that jnana, knowledge, is the attribute of the Guru, of the real saint. He must know. Our Guru, he has been like a never-ending source of knowledge. He has written 5,018 songs, beautiful spiritual songs. Just every day, 2-3 songs every day, 2-3 songs. One day, 18 songs he has written. Every day he would give a lecture, spontaneously flowing. It is beautiful to watch him. Just he speaks very spontaneously, effortlessly. And then in any locality he would visit, he will speak, oh, this river in this language is called like this, because of that and that. And then 500 years ago it was flowing this course, there are such and such minerals, and because of that there are plants with the medicinal values and so on. So constantly he was just giving and giving that knowledge. Yes. So this type of gurus, this type of human beings exists. It is difficult actually to call them human beings because they are expression of divinity. But even if we don't speak about the masters, but about ourselves, normal human beings, still, when we move inwardly, when we close our eyes in meditation, and when we dive deeply into our mind, to the source of our being, to our I feeling, and beyond that I feeling, into very depthness of that I feeling, then that knowledge spontaneously awakens within us. Sometimes I get surprised. How do I know? Because I am not supposed to know. Somehow it comes. Many people, I've seen those who meditating, spontaneous knowledge awakens in them. And that is a different type of knowledge, different way to know the reality. Agya chakra. By the way, agya, gya, root verb gya is to know. So this chakra is the chakra of knowledge. Both knowledges are there. And because both knowledges are there, one is external movement, go to the objects, know the objects. And another is moving towards the subject, know the subject. It is two types of activities, extraversual and introversual, and they are balanced. So this chakra represents balance. In yoga philosophy it says that the human potential will be fully expressed if there is a state of balance. There are millions of states of imbalance, and the state of balance is only one. So the highest perfection in life is to achieve that state of balance. The balance between external life and internal life, about spiritual and mundane, about giving and taking, between giving and taking, and so on. So many things we have to balance. And the perfection of the Agya chakra is attainment of that state of balance. Some people think that if you do meditation, you will become spacey, you will become space cadet, impractical person. It is very far from truth. It is baseless, because it is in my experience also, I've seen people who are spacey, who are dreamy, if they start to do meditation, they acquire rationalistic mentality. They will become much more down to earth. So idealistic people, they will become more practical, and materialistic people, they will also sense the wind of spirituality. They will be attracted to that unknown world of infinite transcendental existence that I also have seen. Sometimes I will tell you a story. Some people I initiated into the practice, and I thought, why they want to learn meditation? Because they are purely materialist. No spiritual intention. But by practicing, actually they exceeded, they became better than the people with the idealistic mentality. They have become, wow, that was a miracle for me. So, when you meditate, you will surely work with Agya Chakra. And Agya Chakra will attain the balance. When the balance is attained, then perfections of human life will be attained. On the physical level, Agya Chakra is represented by hypothalamus and hypophysis glands. Actually, these two glands, but is almost one gland. Is a tiny ball of neural tissue. But that tiny ball controls all the functions of the body. It secretes a bunch of hormones, gonadotropin, corticotropin hormones, which stimulating gonads, genital glands, and then adrenal glands, and then this prolactin, stimulating the secretion of milk in the female breast, or oxytocin, developing the bond between other people, feeling the closeness, feeling the trust, and then thyroid stimulating hormone. All the lower glands, all the lower chakras are stimulated with this tiny little piece of neural tissue. Imagine the importance of that little thing in your brain. And then similarly, on the spiritual level, on the psychic level, this center controls all the lower chakras. So actually, in some schools of yoga, they believe that no need to do any physical activities. Just meditate. Automatically you will develop everything. And yes, to some extent it is true, but it will be longer. So better the practice should be balanced. Physical, mental, spiritual, all processes should be there for the development. But to say, it is correct to believe that if you develop this center, everything else will be balanced and developed. So this is the very, very crucial, very, very important center. How to develop Agya Chakra. Asanas. Asanas for the balance. Tula Dandasana, balance posture. Garudasana, bird posture. Vrikshasana, tree posture. Then Gyanasana, posture of knowledge. If the person is very uninterested in study, doing that asana, he will acquire the interest. He will like to study. And then Bhavasana. Bhavasana is ideation posture. If you do that, you will, after that asana, you will feel sweetness in your meditation. When this center is getting activated, it becomes easy for you to concentrate. And then also upside down positions, Sarvangasana, rabbit posture, Shashangasana. This will help to increase the blood flow towards the brain and activate Agya Chakra. And concentration, planning, inventing, all these processes, they involve this center, they involve the brain. So they develop. And most importantly, we need to do meditation. Without meditation, we cannot hope to really properly develop Agya Chakra. Meditation is the most important. Kirtan also, singing mantra to some extent, because when we sing, we concentrate in this point. And the yogic processes. So let us follow in the footsteps of the ancient masters, of the gurus and saints who have developed the highest human potential, let us also develop our Agya Chakra. At least let us experience a little of that special way to know reality. Let us experience a little of that feeling of oneness and bliss of that oneness, because we really acutely feel our imperfection. We want to become complete. And when you become complete, it is bliss. It is blissful. It is the meaning of human life, to understand that. So that is about Agya Chakra. I hope that I spoke everything about it. Of course, everything cannot be spoken. In the next session, we will talk about Sahasrara Chakra. If Agya Chakra controls everything below, Sahasrara Chakra controls Agya Chakra. We will speak, this is the king, and that is the king of kings. King of the king. Yes. Thank you very much. Namaskar.